Okay. So for I guess the biggest difference from smart plans to email campaigns is that the campaign itself is just a specific email, and they're designed to do a blast out to multiple people in your database. So you can find the campaign under the little megaphone. And there are different avenues that you can go down with campaigns, like you do paid ads, there's social media content, there's a bunch of things, direct mail, but I think we want to just cover email campaigns today. There it goes. So when you initially check on the email campaigns or click on the campaigns, the dashboard is what pops up. It's kind of lets you know what you're spending, but that's for the paid ads, stuff like that. So this stuff won't really pertain to the emails. But if you want to, you can click on the emails tab at the top. It will show you all of your past ones, if you have any drafted, anything like that. It does give you some analytics right here in there. Tells you how many were sent, how many opened them, and how many clicks there were. And if you click on the name after this released, so I think this was must have been in September. If you click on the name of the campaign, that's where you can see the details of the analytics, like how many people it was sent to, who opened it, so on and so forth. So you click on the name and you have all of your options here. Obviously, it's not really Tom Brady, but I never know. No. But I specifically put a bad email in there because I wanted to see how it reacted. I always gotta like test the system. So of those 4 that sent, 3 delivered, and it gives me the specifics. And you know that it's this email campaign specifically because you clicked on the name. And then it goes through how many opened it, if they clicked on anything in that email campaign, if they unsubscribed, if 1 didn't send or 1 not open. All those details are there for you to see. So if you want to create one, you're going to click Create Campaign in the top right corner, and you're going to choose Email. You will then name your campaign, and then you'll choose your goal. So the goal is internal. So whatever makes sense to you, nobody else will see it. If you're trying to do brand awareness event, or if you're advertising a listing, whichever it may be. For typical, like if you wanted to do like a monthly newsletter, I would kind of probably count that as like brand awareness. So
is that just like an organizational system? Like, would you be able to filter by goals for that campaign? Or
I don't believe you can for that. No, it's just I want to say that this applies to like goals that you set in Command, like how your leads move down your pipelines and stuff like that, like the conversion stuff, portions of it, like if it's coming from marketing and how it's converting. So, and then at the bottom here, you're going to choose either Command Email or MailChimp. If you have a MailChimp account, you can use it. I recommend you use Command Email because it's already integrated in there. And then you choose Create Campaign. It's going to take you to this next screen. You're going to go through all the steps on the left there, and then at the end you pick your design. So this name will already be populated because that's what you named the campaign. Then the first screen, the account, this is where the email is coming from. So if you're on a team, make sure that that is appropriate. I know in the settings you only can choose 1 person initially, so you might have to change it to be the default person. Then you will create your list. So you do have to create a list of people from your database for the emails. The great thing about that is once you create it once, it saves, so you can go back in there, reuse it, and then you can also edit those lists in here as well. Excuse me. So if you have somebody new that you add to your database, you can also add them in here. So once you have them created, you can just click them. Otherwise, you'll click create list and it'll pull up your database just like you would see in Smart Plans. The only difference for this one, so you'll name it, or for me, if it was like my newsletter that I was sending out monthly, I would just put newsletter. I wouldn't even specify the month. Or if you want to, so you know when you last updated it, would be my only other recommendation. So you can filter by tags or type your name in, their names in here, either or. So if you're wanting to do like a select all option, you make sure before you hit select all, you scroll all the way to the bottom and load this out completely. And then choose select all, because it's only gonna hit select what's showing up there. So you just do load more. I'm not gonna do it for all 4,000, but you would just keep scrolling until
For this one,
You
you
get-
get more than the 500 at a
Yeah.
time.
Yep. To my knowledge, there is not a limit on this, on how many you can do at a time. So then you would just choose select all, confirm, and it shows the 300 contacts that I loaded. And then there's my list. If you are coming back after you created the list and want to add anybody else, you just choose whichever list that you want in here. And then you're going to click edit in the top right corner of this box. It's going to pull it up and it will show you who's already marked. So if you think you missed somebody, you type in their name, there should be a check mark there if they're already on the list. If there's not a check mark to the left of their name, then you just check the box and hit confirm and you've updated your list. The send from, this is what they will see when it comes through, like in their inbox. So like right here where it says Katie Lance, this will say Rachel Vaughn or whatever your name is. And then when they respond, if they respond to that email, it will go to this email address inbox. So then you have your subject line that is magic how I got that anymore, but this is the subject line of an email. So that first little blip that they'll see before they click on it, that's what number 5 is. So and then the last square is your content square. So this is where you're going to go. It'll take you kind of in designs and let you choose and map out your email. So just click select design. There are, by default, it'll go to your templates. These are ones you've made previously. And then if you haven't made any, you can switch over or want to make a new one, switch over to KWRI templates. And then all of them are in there. I believe, yeah, there's 72. So if you haven't really gotten into these, it does slightly annoy me. There's no pictures. You can't see what they are. I don't think there's there's a preview in email campaigns. So you can click preview template and see that is not in design. I know it's one where it's in one place and or the other, it's not in both. So if you go through the email campaign, you can at least preview it. So if it says like modern, classic, blah, 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 and it says like newsletter B or just listed B or anything like that, that means it's like a blank template. So it's set up, there's formatted, but there's no content in it. You would have to put your own. Now, if it says like virtual home tours or tax day, something that's specific, those are already pre-made for you. So it's got graphics in there, it's got content in there. So you do have the capability to use just this if you wanted to. You can add pertinent information to it. So if you wanted to put some local mortgage companies or who your preferred mortgage company is, or to do a refinance or whatever, if it's a tax, your tax person, stuff like that, you can. If you want to change or add anything, you can. But they do have some pre-made ones in there. That way you can, you really don't have to add anything to them if you don't want to. And it will always brand to you. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do one that is a template. That way I can show you all the little details. So we'll do this one. So I just clicked on it, or if you're in the preview, that top right corner, it says to use this template or something like that. You can click on that So once you get in here, everything looks a little wonky, but it will look better. So you have option for text, image, a button, which is just, they can click on it to take them to a website. Legal header, which is kind of just your information at the top. Legal footer, listing blocks, event block, videos, and market snaps. So you can put a ton of different stuff in here. You can also make pictures, like buttons, links that they can click on the picture and it takes them to a website. My only suggestion if you do that is make sure you put that in the verbiage. Click on the picture below to check out the website or whatever, just so there's always clear information on what they should be doing, because that's how you're going to get your engagement. So for the template, since it's already in there, and I want to upload an image, I'm just going to, or any box that I want to edit, I'm just going to click on it. And these two little options should pop up. This is the pencil to edit, trash can to delete. I'm going to click on the pencil. All of your editing will be on the right-hand side. So I'm going to just choose replace. And it will save anything you've uploaded previously. Or if you want to upload your own image, just do add images. You can pull listing images from KWLS. So if you're doing anything related to a current listing, either or. So I will just choose that one. And then down here is where you would link it to. You can also link to landing pages, a merge tag, or a web address. If you want to resize it, you can. If you want to change the position, left, center, or right, and then if you want to make a border around it. So anytime you edit within the box, you hit done and not save. Save is to save the whole thing. I know it's so backwards, but any edits you make on the right side, you hit done first. Otherwise, it will not apply it to the left side. Same thing with text. You do have the capability to change the font, the size, there's color. You can make it bold, italics, underlined. You can change the orientation. You want bullet points. You can do hyperlinks within the text if you want to choose to do that. This inline text will, so say I had a text box right under here, not in like a square. If you use inline text, it will stay within the parameters of the box above it. So the text would not go outside the picture. So that's just a nice little trick to have if you need it. And then you would just go through for a button. You would edit. You can change the button text, what it says. And then you would do link to web address. You would go find your website. And then just come into that website, web address, right click or Control-C on your computer. Just copy and paste, I find, is the safest way to go. That way you know it's an actual web address. You can change the background color. You can make it square or rounded edges. You can change the font just like any other place. And then you would just hit done. So then once you go through, you'll build out your information. You can save it as you go if you want to be saved. So once you like it, you got a good preview of it. You can click on this little eyeball here and preview what it would look like. So this is where it's going to fill in your logos and all your information at the bottom. So now here, if you use any merge tags, which are the like names, that makes it a little more personal. From here, this screen, you're still going to see just the merge tag and not their actual name. That's just because they don't have any information to put in there yet. But I always recommend that you send this to yourself in the test email, just so you can click on everything, make sure everything works, make sure the name pops up, all that. So it puts all your information down here and in here by default. I talked with an agent's admin recently. She was confused by the website. This will actually be a hyperlink to your website. So even though it says the word website, will actually go somewhere. It's just a hyperlink now instead of the web address. It used to be just the web address before. So everything looks good. You can change the orientation, this computer, tablet, or iPad, and then cell phone. I would always go to this and make sure it looks right because the majority of people are going to look at this on their phone. So as long as everything looks good the way you want it to, then you can close it. Up here in the top right are options. This is where you send that test email. And then you're just going to send it to whomever, yourself. If you want to send it to a friend to look at. Another reason I like to do this is because the fonts don't always filter from command to whatever service they use. So if you'll see in Gmail, it may not look completely identical just because if that platform doesn't support that font style, it won't. They just have to kind of choose another font. So if that's something that's important to you, I would definitely make sure you send a test. It sends within a minute or two. This is what it looks like. So you click on it, give it a good view, click on all your links, make sure it goes where it's supposed to go. And then always make sure you do your website and then also download your app just to make sure. So for your website, you can scroll down and see that that is you. And then download your app. Mine won't be because I don't have an app, but your picture and information should be right here on the screen before the link. So that's how you verify that that's for sure you, but it pulls from your command. So there shouldn't ever be issues with that, but if you do happen to notice it. But yeah, just always send it to yourself first, make sure everything looks good. As you can see, the font is different, but wasn't a big deal for me. So yeah, so then once you have everything looks good, you do save and exit. And then you have your complete system here. So you kind of just go down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see the preview on the right side. As long as everything looks good, you have the option to schedule it. So you can schedule these out in advance for up to 12 months from now. So if you wanted to, go ahead and schedule all the holidays, or if you wanted to do 2 months worth of newsletters in advance, I don't know how easy it would be to do much further than that unless you already know what content you're going to schedule, but you can schedule date and time. So that is something that is different from smart plans. Smart plans, you can't really control what time they are released, but the email campaigns you can. Or if you want to send it immediately, you can just hit send. Sure, this is the right. Okay, I just want to make sure I send it not to people that shouldn't be getting it. Then you'll hit send or schedule. It'll kind of give you an overview one more time, and then you hit send or it'll be scheduled. It'll take you back to the this dashboard, the emails dashboard and campaigns. The status will be mailed. If it is scheduled, I believe it'll say scheduled. If you canceled it, say cancel. If you save it as a draft, which was an option at the top, it'll be draft, then you can go back in to edit it. So if there is like a layout or the majority of information you want to use again, you can duplicate them. So just these little 3 dots to duplicate it, and then you can always come back and preview them over here. But yeah, so they're almost identical to the same format, basically. Email layouts, as you can do those in smart plans. And then if you want to go in and not necessarily create the email campaign yet, but you want to get your layouts and formats of the email design, you can go straight into just designs and just cover the pretty portion of it, I would say. So any questions on anything?
So I don't know if it's just on my computer or what, but it seems like it's the interface for doing this versus any other design thing. It's so much.
Yeah. And the design, the email designs are separate from, so we use WeBrand for design. They integrated that in there. So email campaigns are still separate from designs. It's totally different.
It's like the
Kind of
check writer
brain.
thing and the WeBrand.
So I think that's why it feels a little more fluid than WeBrand, just because it's a totally different entity. But you can see the previews from email campaigns. So to me, it almost makes more sense to do it that way. And like I said, if they're not ready or you need to go step away from it or come back to it, you can always save it as a draft and easily come back into it. Any other questions? Yeah. I'm gonna start, so next year I'm gonna do like workshops instead of doing stuff over Zoom. That way you bring your laptop in there and then as I teach you to do it.
I like that.
Got you
It really
to
like, it makes sense to just like, it'll give me a time that like, I'm gonna do this now,
right.
rather than, thinking it.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then I think it helps if you do it as you learn too. That way, if you run into hiccups, I'm right then and there and we can fix the issue. I'm hoping that will help a lot and that will, outside of just showing you what's there, you can actually do it while I'm doing it. That's hard to do from like home. Because most people don't have to.
I know a lot of your commands. Like 20 years in.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a workshop.
I think so too. I can see who does smart plan. And like who has people in their database and their contacts, but that's about it. I can't see the email.
Rachel, are you going to somebody?
I am.